Martin, welcome.
Hi,
Welcome
Luciano.
in this studio and welcome back in Europe. As you said, congratulations for your new position in Michigan.
Thanks very much.
And I was wondering while you were starting to talk that Michigan is much colder than Germany, so you are moving from the cold experience perfusion while warm perfusing. So it's
Depends on the season. So in the summer it's much hotter in Michigan. But anyhow.
okay.
Anyhow.
So just want to start this quick chat with the same question that I made to Peter McDonald earlier. We
Yes.
had another meeting about his DCD experience, but there are some similarities in your talk and his experience as well. So my question, and I want to know your view, is that this organ machine perfusion, this OCS system, is really a key machine to start a DCD heart retrieval program, although they have been designed for retrieve heart from DBD donors. But what do you think is going to be the future? What is your view and your impression of these techniques? So they will be more useful in the future to improve the donor pool in the DBD, like more marginal hearts from the DBD, or we will see really the future in the DCD organs for heart?
I think for the DCD this is exciting work, but it's pioneering work. And I think a year or two ago we wouldn't even have thought about DCD heart donation. There may be some visions about it, but now it's a reality. It happened and it worked out. So it is something for a fact that there will be DCD heart donation, and this is something we have to deal with. I think, but this is in the pioneering stages. But if you look at the risk factors, that even an organ donor older than 40 by itself is a risk factor for the recipient. And then you see that for the heart transplants, we are not that good in cold preservation as we think. There are limits and barriers there. So I think for clinical program, the heart perfusion will expand the conventional heart transplants and make them safer. I think that will be the next step.
Okay, and we heard from the presentation before yours that in other organs, in particular liver, but also kidney, there are machines that seem quite simpler than the OCS system.
Yes.
To cold perfuse the organ or to perfuse with a subthermic solution, let's say 15, 20 degrees. And do you think this can be applicable for heart? So can this be a sort of in between the cold solution and the beating heart in a warm perfusion? So do you think there is any biological connection, or is just something?
No, I think it's a good point, but there are absolutely no real data to support any of the views. Mm-hmm. So I can answer by intuition. And as a heart surgeon, you know mm-hmm. that you give repeated cardioplegia shots. You preserve a heart well. And I think this is what cold machine perfusion does. Mm-hmm. It's a continuous cardioplegic solution to keep the heart cold and supplement some oxygen. And if you want to recover a heart, we always have it at normothermic conditions in human being. That's a basic fundamental principle in heart surgery. And so answering from that, we would say that the warm perfusion is more likely to recover an organ, mm-hmm. but a cold perfusion may be a safe method for transportation.
Mm. Okay. And then again, you have been very balanced in the presentation and really highlighting where we have data and where we don't have data. But now we are, let's say, a bit out of the presentation and we are chatting, and so I think that it's important also for the people to have just your impression, I mean, out of the data box. So you pointed really good out that while for the heart we have currently one technique, but for lungs we have 3 approaches, and within the EVLP approaches we have many different techniques, the Toronto way, the Swedish way, ex vivo, Vivoline, many companies, and so very different approaches and also different probably different to compare, and we will never be able to really compare these three probably in the future. So could you just summarize for us what do you think are the pros and cons of these two or three approaches? So what is better in warm transportation or like ex vivo that you recondition afterwards? What are the pros and cons of this?
So one thing is, if you look at the ex vivo approach, like the Swedish or the Canadian model, they are all relying on cold preservation in the first place, because there is cold preservation for many hours, then there is ex vivo perfusion, and then again there is cold preservation. So there are extended cold preservation times of 6, 7, 8 hours, even longer in these organs. And I think that is one approach, and this is not moving cold preservation away. This is supplementing cold preservation with an ex vivo perfusion. That's one concept. The other concept is with the organ care system, there will be a reduction of cold preservation time. So now, what is a better approach? For one thing, it is that I think ex vivo perfusion is not an easy thing to do. And I think that is what we learned from heart and also from lungs, that it's not simple. You cannot just do it and then you are perfect with it. There is a learning curve. This is a complex thing to do. And so the question will also be going into specialized centers with ex vivo perfusion, where you have professionals who don't do anything else but organ perfusion, may have also an additional positive impact on the result. Other than everybody does it in its own shop and try to standardize with a low volume. And it may also be different from center-based. You know, if you have the big centers doing more than 100 transplants, it may be a good approach to do it at the center size. But if you have many centers, like in the United States, doing 20 or less, do we really want to have each and everybody going through the same learning curve? So I think these approaches it's exciting to see how they develop, but I think there will be a kind of an evolution of these approaches over the next years, not only based on medical facts, but also on usability and sustainability by the centers.
Okay, so thank you, Martin. Thank you very much
All right.
for your time and for
Thanks for having me.
For your time.